So around the time when I started record collecting, around the summer of 2021 or so, one big jazz album I was looking for was Jerry Mulligan's Night Lights, which is one of my personal favorite jazz albums of all time, but it's a bit of a harder find. So it took me a while to eventually get a copy, but when I was in a record store looking for it, um, I came across a copy of Miles Davis's Kind of Blue, which I still have right here. Now, the thing is, I hadn't heard the album in full like recently. I had heard it on YouTube like a while back, but it had been a minute since I heard it. But I knew it was a jazz classic, and so I thought, hey, what the hell? I'll pick this up, get like a jazz record in my collection. And you know what? To this day, I do not regret that decision. This album has so much life to it and just what it does, right? With the way that Miles Davis composed this album, which is, obviously using modal jazz and selecting different modes and kind of having people freestyle from there, it gives Kind of Blue this almost like liveliness to it, right? You'll start a song and it'll go through and it has like the main melody with it, but then it just kind of keeps on going. It's very freeform. It lets your mind like stretch. It feels like there's breathing room in the music. And then once it circles around to like the end of the song, it's like, oh yeah, I was listening to Freddie Freeloader and I completely forgot that was the song I was listening to. It feels like it's creating lived worlds within it. And that's for sure what makes it a classic in my eyes. The awesome opener of So What, which is just 10 minutes of just it's just so fun. Like I don't know. I put it on yesterday when I was out on a drive from like the train station to go back home after my sister had to get dropped off, and it was so just good music. I made it so much more enjoyable. Not to mention the relaxed but short Blue and Green, which is probably my favorite track on the album. That actually, let's talk about this for a second. The all-star cast that goes into this album. Okay, you've got Miles Davis, of course, he's main leader, right? Great trumpet player. But then you have John Coltrane and goddamn Bill Evans. What? That's like it's like a whole posse cut, but for like an album. And it's as good as it sounds on paper. Like they genuinely put favorite trumpet player, favorite saxophone player, favorite piano player. I mean, maybe not like my favorites of those instruments, but really up there for me, and just put it all on the same album with this interesting way of making music to make a project that is frankly unforgettable. But yeah, Blue and Green in particular I feel like is a track where that really shines, where you have like Bill Evans, like that strong piano melody in the beginning. Oh my goodness, that gets stuck in my head all the time, and like whenever Christmas rolls around, I'm just playing that song. It's great every single time. Of course, Miles Davis goes crazy on this and just every other song in general because he's goddamn Miles Davis. I don't feel like I have much to say there. He's just that good. And of course, it's not to discredit any of the other people that I'm not quite as familiar with, that being Julia Natterley, Paul Chambers, James Cobb, also Wynton Kelly. Yeah, I'm just reading this. Everyone really did bring something good to this album, and there's a reason why it's hailed as a classic. It's because each track, even though there's just 5 of them, they all bring this own little pocket of space within it, where if you just listen to the music and let your mind kind of think along the grooves of the album, you get immersed in it so easily, and I feel like that's what's really special about Kind of Blue. Also, particularly on the vinyl release, I should probably touch on for a little bit. This is I believe, 180-gram reissue of the album, so a more recent press of the project. And it's, I gotta say, really great. While I'm not for sure if this is the best press, I feel like there's probably better pressings than the one I have right here. But for what it is, the record sounds like you're hearing it in the room as you play it. And that's a really neat effect, especially for a project like Kind of Blue that is built more on freeform melodies and improvisations by the artists. It also works pretty well on headphones. I feel like the drums, especially, if you listen to this album with like, some good headphones meant for listening to vinyl, it pops in a really nice way. Not like bad groove popping, but like it feels like it hits the right spot in your ear. And that's pretty impressive to me. That's what I want. And to think for the price I paid, which was somewhere between 25 and 30 bucks, somewhere around that range. Yeah, this is a good purchase. I don't have much to say. I mean, it's Kind of Blue. I feel like so much has been said about it already, but yeah, it deserves all of the praise that it gets. It's gotten even better for me after these most recent listens I've done for this video. Like, I'm just, it just fits into everything that I want in jazz albums, which is like atmosphere, right? I feel like, especially as a modern music consumer, where it's like I listen to a very wide array of genres and a lot of newer stuff. Coming back to jazz is always, I think, some of the most powerful instrumental music you could turn to, and just how it builds and it makes you feel as you listen to it is something that you can very easily track and like feel and stuff like that. But yeah, I have a very deep appreciation for what this album does. Like, it really is that album. You know, Miles Davis is him. Remember that. And yeah, I don't know. It's a classic. That's all.